Hey, everybody. Today's episode is a conversation that I had with Jonathan Ruggles, the Director of Partnerships from Flip.to, and we dove into the 3 points of hospitality marketing. And this was just a really fun conversation that we had that we thought would be worth sharing with our audience today. So, without further ado, here we go.
Welcome to this week's enlightening session on 3 points for hospitality marketing. My name is Jonathan Ruggles, and it's my pleasure to host this interview as Director of Partnerships for Flip.to, or Flip.to, as we like to say. Today, we're privileged to have with us Miss Alex Husner, a luminary in the hospitality marketing, whose insights and strategies have been shaping the vacation rental industry. As your host and interviewer, I'm excited to delve into a conversation with Alex about 3 revolutionary strategies that are redefining the vacation rental landscape of hospitality marketing. That's a lot of words. All right, first, Alex is going to take us through the idea of building your house on your own land. This approach focusing on the importance of owning your digital presence and assets. It's more relevant than ever in today's unpredictable digital world. Alex's insights will illuminate the benefits of this strategy for enduring success in our industry. Next, we'll discuss the importance of leveraging your guest content and audiences. Alex's expertise will highlight how guest-generated content isn't just valuable, it's a powerful tool for authentic engagement and expanding your reach. She'll share practical ways to turn your guests into brand ambassadors, leveraging their content and audiences to enrich your marketing efforts. We're almost done, Alex. Lastly, we'll dive into the power of being the first mover. Alex will explain why staying ahead of the curve and adopting innovative strategies early can set you apart in the ever-competitive hospitality market. She will share her experiences and advice on how being a first mover can significantly elevate your brand's position and appeal. Okay, got through it.
Ooh, let's do it.
Awesome.
That's definitely a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Alex, I've been so excited for our conversation today. You might notice I am having one of my favorite cigars. It's absolutely fantastic. And I had to take a picture of it because it's a mouthful. This is a My Father Flor de la Antilla Toro Gordo, and it's a Maduro blend. It's absolutely delicious. I know we're virtual, right? So I'm in Bend, Oregon at McMinimans, which is, if you guys don't know McMinimans, you got to look it up. And Alex, where are you?
I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, so way on the other side of the country from
Of
you.
the
But
country.
I wish I knew more about the cigar that you're smoking and everything that you just said, but I can't even pretend that I do. But I will say we have to have you on our podcast at some point because we've never had somebody smoke a cigar on the show. So that would be a first, and it would be a good conversation. I know that.
Perfect. Well, like I said, I've been so excited for today. Thank you for joining us. And we've got our 3 points in the ticker below. But let's start out. I'm curious, building your house on your own land.
Yeah. So I operate from the vacation rental sector primarily, but I mean, here in the Myrtle Beach market, there's a lot of crossover between vacation rentals to resorts, to condo resorts, to hotels, beach homes. And, as a destination, we market the entire destination, the CVB, the chamber, the DMO. And so familiar within all different parts. From the vacation rental side, I will tell you this story. So obviously during COVID, there was a lot of backlash towards Airbnb. When closures started happening, Airbnb, and they've continued to do this, they take the side of the guest over the property manager, 10 to 1. And that obviously caused a lot of problems for people that had deposits held up and property managers weren't paid. And it really created a ruckus within the industry of talking about, okay, if we don't want this to happen again. And it was more of a wake up call, I would say, of wow, obviously we had to close during COVID, but an OTA can change their rules. They can change the rules of the game at any point because they control the game. And so when you're looking at your own strategy, whether you are a hotel, vacation rental, no matter what type of property, you really want to be able to create your own rules. And in this case, as we said, build your house on your own land so that you don't get the rug pulled out from under you. And I've seen that happen far too many times. So in doing that, we really focus on building direct booking strategies and building audiences that you own and that you have access to that data. LinkedIn, Facebook, all those are great audiences to build. But at the end of the day, you also don't own those. So what are the ways that you can
Mhm.
actually build a reliable source of traffic that's coming back in? Your email list, of course, is probably one of the biggest ways to do that.
Mhm.
Granted, there's different things that can happen with email providers and different rules and things like that, but the more contact information that you're able to get from the guest to stay continuously in conversations with them, obviously, the better. And I know that's something that the vacation rental industry has learned and seen from what the hotels have gone through too, that a lot of the hotel-based OTAs, really, some do and some used to make it a lot harder for you to be able to get that
Mm.
contact information. But it's vital, to build up your repeat business, have that house on the land that you bought and that you control and you mow the grass.
Yeah.
There's just inherent value to that. So, building up creative audiences, podcasting, I mean, different sources that you own are all ways to make sure that you're staying in front of guests and your business constituents, whether that's conference guests or conference organizers. You've got to get creative with it, but you have to make sure that you are building your strategy with the long term in mind and not getting distracted by the quick wins of a quick Airbnb booking or an OTA booking, or just relying on the outside world to be able to provide you your revenue at the end of the day.
That is such good points. And, in my conversations with people, listen, OTAs are part of the strategy.
Yep.
There shouldn't be such a dependence on them, but it's kind of like the old adage, Las Vegas wasn't built from winning.
Right.
And the same
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Love Las Vegas, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
Google and Facebook didn't get anywhere from renting their data, right? I mean,
Mhm.
they own the data. So
Yep.
that land grab of data is, right in front of us, right? The
Mhm.
importance of owning that data, leveraging that data, and as you say, build your house on your own land with your own data and your own insights. So absolutely fantastic. I hope people really kind of think about that. Take a step. Think about.
Yeah. And really, I mean, not only does it protect you to be able to control the rules of the game, but it also allows you to communicate from your true essence of your brand and in the way that you want to be able to communicate with those guests so that they do remember you. Or if you're a property that has locations in other cities and you want to be able to cross market to them, you're going to be able to do that if you have control over how you're contacting the guests and the data that you're collecting from them.
Absolutely. I'm going to pivot for just a second. We're going to get to our second point, but I think we need to mention the fact that you've been a friend of Flip.to for many, many years. And I wonder, could you just give us, a little bit of background on yourself? Because I think you've made a big announcement, and I think you've been a leader in this space for a long time. I want to put you on a platform. Alex, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit
Okay.
about you. Yeah, please do. Get after it.
Sure. Oh, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been in the Myrtle Beach market for 15 years in vacation rental and hospitality spaces here, very actively involved with our CVB DMO chamber, which is actually how I first started working with Flip.to, that we were very early adopters of the Flip.to platform, which this is going back to 2017. I think we were the first destination. We were like the beta that it got rolled out with.
Oh, cool.
And the company that I was with, I was CMO with Condo World here. We were the first property to roll out several of the features and a lot of the new developments that Flip.to had, and really just built a great relationship with Ed and everybody on the
Yeah.
team. And there's literally all of you, guys and gals, just a great company and
But for
always
the
first to
record,
innovate.
everybody knows Ed, right?
Yeah,
Everybody
exactly.
knows Ed.
Yeah, that's right. That's very true. But yeah, and so CMO with Condo World for 13 years there. That's how I also got involved with you guys, Chamber. I left last year and I was CMO for a company called Casago, which is a national vacation rental franchise business, was more on the business development side. And truly my talents and love for this business really is in marketing. And I just resigned from that position a little bit less than a month ago, and am going full time on my own thing at this point. I'm going to be focusing on a couple different things, but our podcast is Alex and Annie, the Real Women of vacation rentals. That's us on this mug right here
I
if you're
love it.
watching on
I
video.
love it. Yeah.
And then growing the parent company of the podcast, which is Aha Moments. And that's going to be a lot of different things where I'm working through with it, but likely a advisory fractional CMO type business where I can work more directly with these vacation rental hospitality brands on their book direct strategies, on business
Mm.
growth, on building their own houses on their own land.
Yeah, there you
Those
go.
types of things.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, congratulations on all your success. And I'm just super excited. Everybody at Flip.to is super excited. A, they were excited about this conversation. B, they're excited about where you're going and more impact that you're going to have in the vacation rental space. So
Oh, thank you.
congrats. That's pretty awesome.
Always have appreciated your support and the support of your team. They've been there for me along this journey in many ways. So I'm a
Awesome. Yeah, it's a little
big fan.
big fan. Sorry, folks. A little bit of a love fest here, but that's okay. That's okay. All right. We talked a little bit earlier about the importance of leveraging your guest content and audiences. You touched on it a little bit. I wonder if you could dive a little deeper into that
Yeah,
point.
sure. And some of the 3 points that we have, they kind of all weave together to tell a bigger story. But one of the things that I've gotten to really see firsthand in this past year as I've been, traveling to multiple markets with Casago and, looking at different operators and, seeing who would potentially have fit into the franchise model. There is what we call the sea of sameness out there that everybody
Mm,
basically markets the
mm,
same, they look the same, the name of their company is like seaside, coastline, this, whatever, just different versions of the same word, sometimes just spelled differently, all in one market, same colors. And it's like for a
mm,
consumer, no wonder, we've given vacation rentals as not on purpose, but by our actions has given our brand to Airbnb. I mean, Airbnb has become the Kleenex because it is a
mm.
brand that it stands for a lot. It's very well known. They've positioned themselves very well. I think a lot of the companies in our space have just kind of gone with the status quo of,
Right.
the basics. And when it comes to user generated content, one thing that we always did really well at Condo World, and I think, through a lot of influence and learnings that we had at the Chamber CVB and with your Flip.to's help, was how important it was to put our guests at the front of our
Mm,
marketing and, let them be the stars of the show. Let them tell the stories of their vacation and connect that with their friends and family that are obviously going to be the most likely people that would also be interested in coming to stay if they have similar interests. And I think having that approach really differentiated the Myrtle Beach area in a lot of the companies that went that route, and certainly differentiated Condo World. And I mean,
mm.
we were all about our brand all day long, but we did it in such a way that it was told through their eyes, and it was communicating what our core values were and the audiences that we wanted to attract. But it made it fun too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a fun industry that we all work in, and
Yeah.
getting to actually see people enjoy what it is that we're selling. We're not selling insurance, we're selling something that's kind of fun. It makes a big difference. And there really are not enough companies that have figured out how to do that and leverage it effectively. And quite honestly, I think what a lot of that comes down to is there aren't a lot of tools that are easy to use. I mean, there's tools out there, but with Flip.to, that was always, how we were able to generate this content. It was, once it was set up, there wasn't a whole lot of work. I mean, we were generating the content, curating it, and then now having the rights to those images that we used on
Right.
our, emails and brochures and all of our advertising. And it's very distinctful and impactful within that sea of sameness that I first
Yeah.
mentioned there.
Yeah. That is such a great point. And the common thread here is that control that you're talking about.
Yes. Yep. Control and the differentiation.
Attention property owners and hosts. If you want to keep those 5-star cleanliness ratings soaring and your guests smiling, listen up. Introducing Turno, your ultimate solution for simplifying and automating the entire cleaning management process. Say goodbye to the hassle and hello to high-quality, timely turnovers that guarantee those top-rated guest reviews.
With Turno, you can automatically schedule, manage, and pay your short-term rental cleaners, ensuring a seamless and efficient operation.
And here's the best part. Turno's Cleaner Marketplace boasts over 55,000 vetted short-term rental cleaning pros ready to elevate your property management game.
Turno lets you manage cleaner performance with features like auto scheduling synced directly to your booking calendar, auto payments, photo checklists, problem reporting, and even inventory management.
But that's not all. Keep your cleaner communications organized with centralized chat and photo sharing, all in one convenient place. Plus, they've made on-the-go management a breeze with separate mobile apps tailored for both hosts and cleaners. And just in case you need a lifeline, Turno's live 24/7 customer support is always at your service. Because at Turno, they're not just a platform, they're your partner in success.
And there's a special treat for the listeners of the Alex and Annie podcast. When you try Turno and its cleaner marketplace, you'll receive a $150 Amazon gift card exclusively as our thank you to you.
So here's how it works. New users can sign up at turno.com/AlexandAnniePodcast. Search for a cleaner in your area, connect with one or more, and then complete a marketplace cleaning. Once you see how easy and simple cleaning management can be, you'll love how much time and money you save, not to mention no more cleaning headaches. Now back to the show.
I was talking to a friend of mine, and you can't open up LinkedIn without seeing something about AI. I mean, AI is everywhere, right? But I'm taking credit for this, and I'm telling you for the first time, I've been going with it, and I'm really about AI as well. And I think hospitality is about AI, which is nothing more than authentic interactions.
Yep, that's right.
And people
That's right.
want authentic interactions, and that could be online, that can be at the front desk, that could be meeting the property owner. But I mean, we're human, right? We want those authentic interactions. And, I've always said, memories and relationships are the most important thing you have in your life. Well, maybe health.
For sure.
Maybe
Yeah.
health, but
Yeah.
memories and relationships.
Yeah. And I mean, think about what an impact we all have in that for a lot of these guests we are the stewards of these vacations and these memories that they have. And, of course we want to make that memorable and a good experience for them. But I think you're spot on. I mean, that's what ultimately worries me, about AI and just technology in general, that there's a lot of things that it helps and it makes more efficient both for businesses and for the guests to be able to quickly get on their way to their vacation. But there's a lot of those, authentic, true one-to-one personal touches that AI can't fix, and it can't help you with that. And we're definitely starting to see that more in the vacation rental industry of, post COVID, almost everything went to keyless lock, digital entry to get into the properties. And previously, guests were coming to offices, they were meeting reservation staff. And, obviously, this has made it easier for guests to start their vacation quicker.
Yeah.
But now you've got to do a lot more creative things to get in front of that guest. So we're seeing that, for big beach homes, there's a property manager that the day after they check in, they're stopping by the home. They're bringing key lime pie. They're bringing treats. Like, they're doing things that is hard to do at scale, but it's, it's important. And that's what makes guests continue to come back to you. So however you do that, depending on the size of your portfolio and what that accommodations mix looks like, it's still important to figure out a way to use AI, use the technology, but remember, have something that still shows it's really you on the other side of that screen at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. Key lime pie. I've not had that happen to me yet, but I want that to happen.
I only said that we were down in 30A and we did an on-site interview where they actually, the rental company, 30A Beach Girls, they're amazing. They had a professional gourmet chef come in and cook this meal for us, and it was unreal. But the best part of it was, and I'm not a key lime pie fan generally, this was the best key lime pie I've ever had. And so then they're saying, yep, we bring that to all of our guests on Saturdays. I'm like, oh my gosh, what a way to win them over.
That
Whether
is
you like key lime pie
fantastic.
or not.
And who does this? Do you mind if I ask? I mean, let's just give them a little shout out.
It's 30A Beach Girls.
30A Beach Girls.
Yep. They're 30A, 30abeachgirls.com.
Oh, I love it with the key lime pie on Saturdays. Fantastic. You got to reward that kind of effort. I mean, that is
right.
creative.
Yeah. You have to be.
That's awesome. All right. Power of being the first mover, right? I mean, in business school, you're always talking about the power of being the first mover, the first market entrant.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that?
I was very blessed. My mentor at Condo World, that was the owner and president. He was my boss for 12 years before he passed away in 2021, but he was 86 when he passed. And I learned a lot about business from him over those years. And he had been in other industries before starting the accommodations business. And that was one of the things that he taught me early on. Of he always wanted to be the first one in the market to try something.
Yeah.
And in some cases we would try things and it didn't work well or at all. But in the cases that it did, to have that competitive advantage really can, create some great momentum for you, that it's going to take longer for the competition to be able to catch up with you and follow suit, and you kind of get to steer the path that way. So there were several things that we had done early on and throughout the years, whether it was things that we built ourselves, that we were the first mover because we were the ones building it, or things that
Mhm.
were brought to us that we adopted. Flip.to obviously being one of them. I mean, we immediately said, yes, let's do it. We were the first ones to roll out discovery and kind of rehashing how abandonment is done in the booking process when guests are searching on your website. And that, doing that in this case with Flip.to, we were able to really give input along the whole way in building that process. And, that input was then reflected back into the product. So in a lot of cases, when you work closely with, vendors or companies, or you are willing to say, sure, I'll be the one to try it, they're going to help
Yeah.
you too. I mean, like, you're
Yeah.
helping them, and it goes both ways. So that was always very helpful. I see a lot of companies though who they defer to waiting on the sidelines, and they would rather, wait a couple years or sometimes even for another company to try it first that's similar to them, and let's just see how they do it. But in our space, in the vacation rental space, software, property management, PMS software has evolved significantly over the past really, 5 years, I would say, is when the technology has just really skyrocketed. And that's because obviously a lot of funding coming in post COVID, people want to invest
Right.
in the short-term rental industry now. And with that, we've gotten great new PMSs that are available to all of us. And, switching property management systems is not something that you do without a very vetted process. And it's a long
Mhm.
drawn out thing, and it can go really bad if you make the wrong decision. But there's some companies that, I've been talking to recently that are big. They're making big changes to, actually, it's Guesty is the property management system I'm referring to. Big companies that are switching to Guesty right now that are, not that it's a risk, it's a great software, but if you've been on the older traditional vacation rental software that's been around for the last, 15 plus years, this is
Right.
something new. And it's fun to see companies now say, you know what? We need that. We need to be the best in class, and we've got to be,
Yeah.
there, and we're going to lead the pack, and we're going to put ourselves out there, and we'll reap the benefits from it. So
That's fantastic. It's so nice to hear about these new innovative companies, right? Because like
yeah.
everyone's still trying to, we want to leverage technology, but how do you just keep that human relationship kind of touch points?
And I think one common thread that I've noticed too, the companies that are able to be a first mover, it's not a company where it's a GM that is maybe part owner, and he wears a million hats. It's companies that are set up with strategic roles in the business that are going to drive those things forward and be able to execute on them. On our space, in our side, I'm sorry, that is not as common to have, a chief marketing officer, or, multiple layers of VPs. I think in hotels probably there's more of that, hierarchy, but you've got to have people that are going to be able to drive this for you. I mean, you could have a million great
Right.
ideas that could be first mover ideas come across your desk, but if you're the main person that's got to drive it, you can't do everything. So having the right team, I think, is a big part of having that confidence and that courage to say, we're going to do this. And if it doesn't work out, we've got people that can undo it.
Yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me of kind of the Elon Musk and some other, big business tycoons. And it's like, if you're going to fail fast and then move to the next thing,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's
you
perfect
know,
way to say
because
it.
it's going to be
Yeah.
inevitable, right? Especially if you
Yeah.
want to be a
Yeah.
first mover and you're going to be creative and adopt new strategies, and don't get too wound around the axle if it doesn't
Yeah.
work, right? I mean, you always
Yeah.
want to be prudent with budget. And of course, you've got corporate politics. I'm not supposed to say that, but I mean,
Yeah.
there are things, right, that happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but the fact of the matter is, and even we mentioned it in the intro, right? I mean, this digital world, I mean, yes, it's mature in some ways, but in other ways, I mean, you got to go get it, and you got to
Yeah.
create and control and execute. I think that's the other thing I heard you say is, of these all
Mhm.
these ideas, you got to execute one or two.
Exactly. And allow, some room in your budget so that when these different things, come to you, you're able to say, okay, this looks like something that, it's worth a shot. Not that if you don't leave any room and you just budget for what the known expenses are going to be, it's a lot harder to want to take that risk, obviously. But I mean, we
Yeah.
always left, a minimum of 10% in our marketing budget for different things that would come up throughout the year that we wanted to try. And that, I would say 9 out of 10 times, everything ends up working great. And it does give you
Oh,
that
well, that's
competitive
wonderful. That's
advantage.
a great track record.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you have
Yeah.
the reputation you do. So
Oh,
nice.
thank you. You have to be
Yeah,
discerning. I mean, you don't want to take
of
everything
course.
as a first mover, but, and I think
No.
that comes down to not only the people that you have on your team, but the people on the team of whatever it is that's being pitched to you to implement. So, what is your faith in them that they're going to support your business and the needs and make sure this is something that you're getting a little bit higher level of service because you're putting yourself out there and that it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting. It reminds me, we just for the sake of privacy and exclusivity, we landed a pretty big group last year. They're still onboarding, so when the time's right, we'll talk about them. But their chief marketing person really liked our solution, and they liked another company in fact, it's a company that I worked for, Navis, which is now, as you know, Revenate in the
Mhm.
hotel space. But they also had a product, and this guy was very creative, and he's like, well, wait a minute, I actually want both of those solutions. And so
Yeah, to work
we're doing
together.
this, kind of this triad collaboration of both platforms, and the workflow makes sense, right? There's
Yep.
an abandonment tool, but then kind of in our discovery process, it's getting that data, and we're at a point now where we can really show some really good prospect data that, again, you can build on your own land with. So anyway,
Yeah.
that creativity is absolutely essential.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, time has absolutely flown by. I can't even believe we've already been talking for almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like we just started. So, how far are you on the cigar at this point? Probably.
Yeah. Oh, we're doing pretty good. I got a little bit
Oh, yeah,
more.
you still
I
have a
got,
long. Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say a
yeah,
long ways.
yeah. I still have a long way. It is quite delicious. So we might have to do a part two.
Yeah, absolutely. No, would love to come back. I'd
Yeah.
always love chatting with you and everybody on the team and sharing my experience working with you guys. It's always been a good one and excited to continue my path forward and hopefully be able to work with you guys and on different companies that I may be working with and, just continue the relationship. At the end of the day, our business is about relationships, the
There you go.
relationships that we create with our guests, with our homeowners, with our, investors, whatever the case may be. It's about relationships and with the suppliers, it's vitally important.
Yep, absolutely. You can always get money back. You can't get time back.
Yeah,
So thank you
yeah.
for your time. Really appreciate you
Yeah.
sitting down today. And
Anytime.
yeah,
Anytime.
awesome. Awesome. Well, good luck to you. We're going to be watching. We're going to be watching your podcast again, Annie and Alex.
Alex and
Or is it,
Annie, but
that's what I meant.
you're
Well,
close.
I think
It's
in one of
close.
the
Yeah.
episodes I was talking about, yeah, put your guest as second. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
We were going for Flossom, so I think we're in that Flossom category. So
Oh, no,
anyway,
no worries, no worries. No, absolutely. Thank you for having me today. It's a fun conversation and great to see you as always. So thank you again.
thanks, Alex. All right, you take care. We'll see you soon.